Welcome, friend. We are in our continuing series called What Would Muhammad Do? And one of the things that we'll explore today is, when is it the right or even the duty of a nation to intervene in another nation to protect innocent humans from slaughter? I hope that this answers that question in a way that is crystal clear for you. Enjoy the show. So, one key question. The second one is this: what are the rights and duties of civilized nations to protect human rights, or to stop the abuse of human rights, and to punish human rights violations that legally occur in another sovereign nation? And which of those human rights require some level of action from outside nations? I mean, think of Rwanda. People were being slaughtered. Christians were being butchered. Their heads were stacked up inside of churches. And what did Clinton do? Nothing. We could have stopped that. Maybe if there had been oil involved, we would have. God forgive us. Well, in the Nuremberg judgment, the court stated, and I quote, "Crimes against international law are committed by men, not by abstract entities, and only by punishing individuals who commit such crimes can the provisions of international law be enforced. The spirit of the law expressed at Nuremberg is vital to the protection of human rights." And I quote, "The Nuremberg judgment has come to stand not only for the moral and political imperative that individuals be made legally responsible for violations of international law, but also for the proposition that individual human rights ought to be protected at the level of international law." In other words, by other nations. Are individual rights at international law a challenge to the sovereignty of states? International rights and international law, of course, permeates state sovereignty, permitting outsiders to evaluate how well a state does protecting the rights of individuals, citizens, as well as aliens in its own territory. All right, let us now turn to the tension between human rights as defined by everything that we've discussed and Islamic Sharia law. All right, again, what is Islamic Sharia law? Well, it's a comprehensive code of ethics that regulates all aspects of life, both private and public, and it's done for the sake of the advancement of Islam, the Muslim community, to literally spread Islam over the whole world. Muslim scholar Dr. Osman tells us, and I quote, "The Islamic Sharia is merely a part of the religion which supports the moral values through law. Sharia is not restricted to penal law, whether its origin is divine or human, since it covers branches of law, public as constitutional, administrative, and or criminal, or private as civil, commercial, and labor, in addition to the socioeconomic laws, which may stand between the two categories and probably may combine the characteristics of both. Islam is a religion whose essence is the faith and the moral values, while Sharia is merely a legal support for the moral behavior of the individual and society. The goal of the message of Islam and Sharia is to secure the human rights and dignity and to ensure justice in all its dimensions, individual and collective, political and administrative, and socio-economic." In other words, Sharia law is massively comprehensive, including penal law.